Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to another weekly collective reading for the week of September 28th of 2025. So, yes, end of September already. We're almost in October, my favorite month of October rest months. If you're a Typo Negative fan, you know you know. Um, so yes, so this is just a weekly energetic reading and forecast that may help for this collective or who may resonate with this message to give some energy, some guidance, maybe something to be mindful and discerning that will come into the day-to-day experiences, interactions, energy to put forth, feelings, and what the universe may have and the spirits may have overall to guide us through this thing called life, which is often more and more challenging each day, but to make the best of it we can. Again, things change from moment to moment, but this is just an overall guidance and forecast, potential energetic advice, and something to be mindful of. So, with that being said, thanks for being here. And this week's, it's not actually a crystal we're starting with. I'm not doing forecasting or anything, just that my spirit told me lepidolite. I could not find my lepidolite. Who the hell knows? My ever-extensive collection and everything floating around. It'll show up when it's meant to show up, I guess. It's a pretty big round palm stone, so when I do find it, it's going to be kind of hard to miss. I'm sure it was probably right in front of me. That might be part of the message, too. What is happening right in front of you that you're not seeing or acknowledging? I think that is part of the message, or that's what Spirit's telling me. But this week, it's not actually, when I cast, it wasn't actually a crystal per se that came out. It is a stone, an actual earthly stone. Any of us can find this just about anywhere we live, just by walking by on the ground, in our yards, in this. It is granite. Now, sorry, we still got mosquitoes here, obviously. Yeah, okay. Nice bright sunny morning though. Whatever. So, basically, this this granite I did pick up when I went to Salem a few years ago. So it did come from, I believe, from Pickering Wharf there. I tried my best, so as you've seen in my previous videos, if you watch them, to visit Salem every year, sometimes twice. My favorite place, one of my husband's favorite places. We definitely get to enjoy that connection, that magic, and the beauty and the different things that it has to offer, the lifestyle, the culture, and just the energies overall to take those in. But I also am a huge fan of bodies of water, especially the ocean. That's one of my main reasons I love going there. Um, so, granite. So, here's a fun fact. Um, my great grandparents and stuff, when they built their house, which is still standing, but the farm part is not. It's still across from the street where I grew up with and where my parents still live. Was called the Granite Farm because there was a whole bunch of granite there, and granite was mined back then, obviously, late 1800s, give or take, a little bit earlier than that. So it was a big thing to be mined and used for multiple things. So granite's going to be easily accessible for this week. But granite is indicating it's a very strong stone used, very foundational, in various art projects, things that people build for their home, things they use in their gardens and their land. It is indicating this week a sense of getting back to the earth, getting back to the foundations of oneself, one's practice, no matter what that may be, whether it's spiritual, daily, or routines. It is the need to actually connect down to the earth. As these seasons are changing and we're going into October, no matter where you are, your seasons will always change. That's how the earth is, and life will always change. So it's speaking of connecting to the foundations, the nature, but that which is accessible for you and that which you can bring into your day-to-day experiences, and that which is actually easier to find but builds that strength over time, just like this stone can be used in many things and used over time. So this week is all about that foundations and all about that stability and rooted, and what you can use from the connection of the earth, whether you go for runs, jogs, whether you take walks, whether you just acknowledge it when you go out first thing in the morning and take a deep breath of the earth and feel the air beneath your feet and what nature and earth gives us ourselves, and having things like Mother Earth like this in our presence, it keeps us grounded in this reality. So again, foundations and stability, roots, looking easily accessible, and strengths over time, which is what you built, and that's the message too. Granite is telling me the message in my spirit of strengths over time you've already built and will continue to build. So an interesting stone that came out for this week. All right, let's see. So this week, the tarot I'm using to start off with is the lovely Pythonic Tarot. I do have this in one of my playlists, so if you're interested in taking a look and have not, you can find it. There is some videos out there randomly of other things, but I do have a flip through, sort of my take on the deck. This is a beautiful deck where Hecate speaks through to me, sometimes the Norse goddess Hel, and even sometimes Lilith. It's got that very dark, deep, divine, feminine energy, that which goes through the spaces of time, the liminal, and the threshold. The female's brilliance. You don't have to be a woman to have that female. We all have both masculine and feminine energies, qualities, and experiences that we have within ourselves and our experiences that we hold within the magic of ourselves. This is very underworld. I work with very much death underworld energies, so hence very magic and witchcraft, that which is hidden, that which is whispered and sometimes shouted. The magic of everything, the magic of spirit, connection, knowledge, and wisdom gained through experience, feelings, and honoring and reverence, just like that granite. So let's see what the Pythonic, what do you have in spirit, what do you have for this collective that this may apply to and resonate for, so they can have an effective, empowered week, and what to be mindful and aware of. What should we know, because I'm part of it too, for this upcoming week? So I'm being told 3. Okay. So it's saying top, bottom, and middle. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what we have here, what the Spirit have for us this week. Seven of chalices. Chalices are from the suit of cups, which is water, which is that sense of intuition, guidance, the emotions, the relationships that we all experience in this life and our experiences. So it's the 7 of cups, but in this deck it's a 7 of chalices. There is some nudity in this deck, so yes. But many of my decks do have that. One likes and one is attracted to what appeals to them, and usually for good reason. Secondary on that is Queen of Crystals. Okay, so we have a queen here. Crystals, I believe, in this deck are pentacles or coins. So we have a queen, which is a court card. It could be a woman in life, but it can also be qualities that we embody and encounter or can use. And the pentacles or the coins are earth, so that's what's tangible, materialistic, like our jobs, our experiences, our finances, and our resources, and which is kind of apparent and material and relative. And we have the 4 of Wands. It has been coming up a lot for me in my own readings and such, probably in the past few days or past week, but not this first time I'm pulling from this deck. But we got the 4 of Wands. So wands are fire, the element of fire. That is action, will, action steps you can take, the feelings, the motivation, and creation most of all, and planning. So we have a water, a earth, and a fire. So we got 3 out of the 4 major elements this week. So it is telling me the message altogether is with the Queen of Crystals is saying on here, Queen of Crystals is usually the Queen of Coins, where she's holding that big in the RWS familiarity that we're all with. If you're watching this, I'm sure you've got to be some type of tarot fan or something, or know at least a little bit. But is that crystals, she's looking with, in that holding the pentacle and analyzing what she has, her resources, and what she's created, the past, and what she holds, and what is her foundations, much like that granite does and creates foundations. Many of the queens in many decks, often when they do show a physical person or character, are looking to usually the past. This one, to me, I feel, is looking into the present. Now this one, if you see, I love this. She has sort of a wand and a caduceus there. I'm big into occult. I can't get enough of it. I like to study and learn and feel connections and how tying the pieces together and the hidden. That which is maybe not apparent in it, but it may seem inaccessible, but really is sometimes in plain sight. So I did not previously notice that caduceus in that. Caduceus has 2 snakes or serpents on it too. It is saying that besides this queen being very grounded and facing forward versus the facing the past like many, that you are facing forward and are continuing to look to the foreseeable future and the overall picture, kind of seeing the whole forest versus just through the trees, but looking at the whole picture of things. What you're creating, like with that caduceus, you're taking the steps forward, you're taking that past, but you're using it to the present and the future. So you're looking at things with a very healthy, rounded perspective and outlook of what you can use, what you can create, and what finds your stability in this life. Especially this week, it's going to be all about finding that stability in those foundations and taking all that you have and continuing to analyze and move forward, but wield like that caduceus, the different aspects of life, yourself, your experiences, and those of others that you have within that, and continue to face forward in a grounded effort for yourself and that which really matters. So that's centrally, that's, she wanted to come up first. I think this is qualities you embody in this collective, not someone else, but more so yourself, unless you do know someone kind of like that. 7 of Chalices. So 7 of Cups, or chalices in this case, usually speaks to truth versus illusion. Facts, fiction versus nonfiction, like of everyday experiences, opportunities that are being offered or choices one may have. Now, as a collective and as people that live in this human life experiences, that, like I said in the beginning, that is ever changing. Every day is ever changing, and each of our lives and experiences may be different, yet many things we see and experience are the same, that are affecting us on the outside and therefore within. Just like the cups are within the inner and the outer world of relationships. Now, because of what's happening around the world in various places, many atrocities and challenges, many everyday things that are often different and strange and very unpredictable, it is the need to stay in that form of direct earthy analysis and being resourceful and knowing that you have this and what you're creating in the material. This one is definitely telling me, be careful of the shiny, pretty opportunities. There may be something beneficial in there. There may be a new opportunity, but make sure you're seeing with the reality, the truth versus illusion. So make sure you have your eyes open follow your heart, follow your intuition first and foremost, but be like that Queen of Crystals where you're thoroughly using that analytical resourcefulness that you have acquired throughout your lives up to this point. Not all things that are shiny are gold, as they say. Hence pyrite, for example, fool's gold. So yes, just don't be the fool. Just make a relative and mindful decisions through your choices and weigh the pros and cons as they come, and just do the best you can and observe your feelings while doing that. This week is going to be about being mindful of how you can discern the truth by recognizing the feelings, the signs, the instincts, and what you have, your ability to bring in discernment. And let's see, the Four of Wands shows that by using that discernment and trusting the choices and what you can analyze and see what's real versus illusion and what really opportunities and choices may work for you now and into the foreseeable future. We can't predict 5, 10, 20 years down the road, neither should we be over analytical, but what is a foreseeable future? A few days, a few weeks, a few months, maybe even a couple, 2, 3 years, for example, the foreseeable future. The Four of Wands is telling me about achievement. Now, beginning of this week, I think there's going to be a little bit of that questioning with the choices and things that have been and are still being presented to us, and the feelings that we have in our inner worlds as we observe the outer world and how it's affecting and shaping us. However, with this week, I do see we have victory. Four of Wands is more of a victory or a celebration. Some of you may be having get-togethers with old friends, family members, co-workers, a sense of recognition. The Four of Wands is that point into the wands where you've already planned, you've already looked to your horizons and already accepted many of them. You've built your fire, you've taken the steps and the motivation. It's time to recognize what you have and to be happy and celebrate. There is nothing wrong with celebrating and making the right choices. Even the wrong choices have lessons in them and still shape and bring us to where we are now. So this week is very interesting in the fact of we have to celebrate our wins. We celebrate what we've created and what we continue to create and the resources we do have, and making the most mindful decisions, balancing the head and the heart, the reality versus illusion, and what choices may best benefit us. Now, before this gets too rambly and spirits keep having me going, I'm going to be using the Citadel Oracle this week as a clarifying oracle and message. For that message, what is the bridge or message for this collective this week and energies so that they can be like this particular Queen of Crystals, facing forward, wielding the magic through experiences and connections, the good and the bad that they hold within themselves and the wisdom, but bringing it into reality and materialism through recognition. And what can be celebrated? What little wins and big wins? What can we honor in ourselves and our path and the actions we take and those of others? What can we do to honor what we have already done and chosen to do throughout our lives and our current experiences that will help us to move forward? It's all about feeling that inner fire and will. And that brings strengths and foundations like the granite. Okay, let's see. That's the bridge. Okay, so we got, now if you watch any of my videos, you have to have eye problems, so bear with me just for a moment. So we got the aspirant, which is ambition, diligence, and setbacks. See, just like that wand. So, that Four of Wands. So, being rewarded for your diligence, your hard work, your persistence and resilience, and your attention to details, despite that in the reanalysis of your life, your experiences, and what you continue to do in this life, and how you look at things, and what you have and what you created and what you can always juggle around. Now, the aspire means this collective is very much aspires for more. More meaning more in their relationships, more with their jobs or careers, whatever that might look like. Their home life, what they have had. They've always made the best efforts to be ambitious and diligent. Yes, and like I said in the beginning of this week, there may be some setbacks, but that is something this collective may be very familiar with and has that ability and strength to get through it. So continue to aspire. You always have and you always will aspire for bigger, greater things in your personal world, in your personal relationships. You are worth it. That's what Spirit says. And we're just going to pull one more oracle, but this is so aspire through your choices. Find aspiration through the realistic choices you have made and one must make. That's the message collective one, or this collective needs to know. Sorry, Spirit's channeling heavily. I guess they wanted me to point that out. So what do these blue bones, or Moody Blues as I affectionately call her, what would you like to wrap up this message as a takeaway, a bridge, clarifying, or assisting conjunctive message? I feel a lot of water emotions this week and a lot of fires. Fire and water. Let's not have a zillion energy falling around. This deck has a lot of tendency to give me a lot of jumpers constantly. You've probably seen them in any of my recent videos. Okay. Take one. Here's the first one that kind of went to the sideways, so I will take that from Spirit that that's the one. So we have here, this deck is by Rose Bay. You can find and make playing cards. It's an indie deck. A bit of an investment, but worth any penny, every penny should I say, that we can have, which we do need to find things that we do resonate with. And do some indulgence, but things that are going to help us. This one definitely is one of my most favorite oracles since I've gotten it, which is not too far ago. Yeah, can't talk right, whatever. So still water runs deep. So this is kind of like that Seven of Cups, or Seven of Chalices, if you see. So basically, the Seven of Cups also warns about just taking an opportunity because you feel stagnation or things that are not moving, emotions that are stuck, or inner blockages in perceptions. Maybe you're feeling stuck by your intuition or your experiences. So you can see the eyes closed. So take a few moments and reflect. What have you and want to still aspire on? No matter how young or old we are and what stage we are in our life, we can still have aspirations, whether they're big or small. Every day has something new to aspire to. That's why this collective is aspirants. The stillness that you have within, too, besides analyzing your feelings and what is your real truth and what is illusion in your feelings, your thoughts, and just what the world has and holds. Also, it's saying, I feel with the flowers here, too, find your inner center and calmness, despite the struggles and the turbulence of the world around us, and that's being fed to us, and the challenges that we have and must work through. Find that inner calm. There is deep-seated emotions and energies and things that will be presented because of those choices of the Seven of Wands. But remember to celebrate and find that center of self, just like the Queen of Crystals does, and continue to aspire and have diligence, and that despite any setbacks, this collective will continue to move through, forward, and towards the end of the half week, I believe there's going to be some celebration and recognition, whether it's from yourself, others, or just life itself. You made it this far, you watched this, so thanks for bearing with my rather rambly reading some spirits. And if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, or any of my previous content. If you have any questions, please comment below. I appreciate it. I like to know how you all are doing. And if this resonates with you. And of course, stay strange.